Hello, Nation Builders. In this demo, I'll show you how to build an agent, such as the Nation Intern. Now, this agent is actually linked to Crystal Network Twitter account and is able to go and interact with the community, answer questions, use knowledge base to really go and engage with them. And it does this through autonomous tasks, where it goes and fetches, for example, the recent mentions, and then replies to those posts using the knowledge base that it has. And you can see here it did a few of those replies just now. So to build this agent, you can use a collection of skills from our library, but then it's really depending on your needs, what you want to add. So I'll show you the most basic, probably, path to building this agent. And I'm switching to the advanced mode because that's where I want to have more control. So the first information is really about, name, metadata, etc. So I'm just going to go through it very quickly. I'll call it social agent. It automates my Twitter account. And then I'll share a picture just to, as a placeholder. And here you can just select social just for tagging. Now the next step is really where you can work on the brain of this agent. So first of all, you have different AI models. Some of them are a bit more sophisticated, but they're also more pricey. Some of them are more basic, like the Mini or the Nano. They get the job done. Some are much more linked to Twitter, such as Grok. You can try these ones. They have the ability, for example, to search Twitter mentions automatically using the Grok database. So I'll say you are an agent that automatically engages with Twitter users. This, what you could put here in the purpose, the personality, and the principle is really things for the agent to know. So, for example, I can say the personality, you are playful, or maybe I want to give, we never give financial advice. So you can really put what you want. Same for the principles as well. So this is like do's and don'ts. Do use your skills to give accurate information. Never lie, for example. And then you can do a few more things. Temperature, frequency, all of these are LLM settings. I like to keep this actually the memory management to summarize. So whenever actually the memory becomes too big, the agent will summarize the history and then remember the summary. And then we're going to skip right away to the skills. By the way, this is just for introduction, so I'll skip it. It's not important now. Just want to go to the skills and add some important skills for our agent. There's some default skills that are added, so I don't need those. If you want your agent to have a wallet, you can select the Coinbase wallet. So to have a wallet address, to be able maybe to do swaps if you want. I'm not sure if that's necessary for your use case, but if that's something you're going to add, you can do that. So I'm going to activate swaps and transfers just for the owner, so it's only me that can trigger those ones. I wouldn't need these skills. Perhaps what I will need, however, is the FireCrawler skill. Right? So FireCrawler is particularly interesting because it allows us to crawl the web. So I'm going to activate it. It allows you to crawl the web and add knowledge base to the agent. So for example, I can give some websites or some blogs, and the agent can scrape them, and then you can use that index information to reply to people on Twitter. Very, very useful stuff. For this, however, you need an API key, so you can just go to FireCrawl app, you sign up for a free account, and you get an API key. Just put that there, and you're good to go. If your agent somehow is related to Web3, there are some other skills that could be useful. For instance, the DEX screener, it's good to give maybe some token information. If I want to have my agent integrating through APIs to other apps, it's good to actually activate these ones as well. So this will make sense. I'll give you these ones and maybe autonomous tasks as well. That's very good. That's pretty much it. Like, not too many skills. We have a wallet, some API for integration, FireCrawler for knowledge base, and then once we deploy our agent, we will link to the Twitter account. I'm going to go ahead and just deploy my agent. Right. The most important step really is linking to Twitter, right? So you have a few ways of doing this. The first method is you essentially link to your logged in account so you can authorize the application. What happens here, you are going to use some API keys that are provided by our platform, the Nation platform, which means there is some rate limits that will apply. And so, for example, you can only get mentions probably every 15 minutes. You can maybe create 6 posts per day. So it's a little bit limited in terms of capabilities. However, if you want to really go and scale up, the path to go is actually to bring your own API keys. And these API keys, for example, if this automation is important, then you can pay for the basic account on Twitter. So you go to a dev account and you can pay for $200 per month, and you really have very, very high limits that your agent can have very aggressive automation happening on Twitter. But now, just for the example, I'm going to use the Nation hosted, lower rate limits, very few answers. You will hit rate limits very quickly, but at least it shows you the basic behavior. So I'm going to do that and update my agent. And now this agent is linked to my Twitter account. So I'm going to go and test it. So for example, let's test, for example, a get timeline, get timeline and like the tweets, right? So what will agent will do, it will go and fetch the timeline of the people that I follow, and then will like the tweet that I see from that timeline. You see here the agent has fetched some tweets from the timeline and then like them, deployed a like tweet on it. You can explore different methods. If you see here, for example, in Twitter, you can follow users, post tweets, reply tweets, get mentions, get timeline, etc. So it's up to you. So for instance, you automate these activities. And what I can do, I can say a couple of things, right? So we have autonomous tasks. So I'm going to add an autonomous task, right? We're going to create a task. And I say every 60 minutes, fetch like Twitter, maybe get mentions. So whoever tags you in your account, you can get those mentions and reply using the knowledge base if it's a question. So what this will do, it will create an autonomous task that the agent will execute every 60 minutes to really get mentions and reply to them. And we said to use the knowledge base, and that's where the FireCrawler can come in handy. And I'll show you an example of that. Okay, so the task is added. And what you can do is actually you can use FireCrawler to add some knowledge base to the agent. So we'll head over to the Crystal Network blog. And you see here we have a few articles. I can either actually scrape each article individually. So you can use FireCrawler scrape, and you give it like a URL of a particular blog. Or you can say crawl over the whole website. So it has a function to really go and crawl through the blog and then go to the under pages and get as many links as possible. There you go. So you can see actually it has scrolled some pages could not find them, but some pages got them. And now this becomes a knowledge base. So we can see, for example, the hackathon is happening right now. So I can say, what are the important dates in the hackathon? What the agent will do, it will query its knowledge base to get us that information. There you go. So now your agent has a knowledge base. It can act on Twitter. It has an autonomous task to do that. And you can play around with it in multiple ways. One of them is potentially to use the ReplyGuy agent. So you can do the ReplyGuy Chrome extension and have that reply capability straight into your Twitter. So I'm going to show you an example of that. First of all, we'll get the API keys. Or extension. And what happens now is that when you go to your Twitter, if you see something that you like and you want to comment on, you can just actually, read the tweet, hit the AI reply, and the extension will call the agent that you have linked, use the knowledge base, use the character, use all the rules that you have to generate for you an answer that fits. That's how you can automate your social media. For any questions or any idea, just reach out. The platform is quite extensible, so you really can imagine up even more complicated and sophisticated use cases, and would love to hear your ideas. Cheers.